No, it's just a record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they actually want to look at you, but yeah.
I ain't have to get one, so just move around. Record it so you ain't gotta come back. Yeah, they got tracks too now. I don't mind that. Come on. Too early in the morning for this. Give me strength.
Before you. Yeah. On the 8th. Yeah. I was lost the time of I know where to put another category. Huh? Another boy. Oh, yeah. You talk about one. Up with it. Oh. Nice, good. I have someone, I can explain it all that. Okay. That's right. You didn't find it. I should have been nice. Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
How are you? Dumb machine, man. This. Oh yeah, one for you.
Okay.
You if you want it. Alright, let's try this again. Keep my fingers crossed. Use a good machine. Best machine in the world. You gotta be the dumbest machine ever made. You just let me down all the time.
That's a hit.
Huh?
Week to everybody else.
The what? Sorry, the what?
That's a hint telling you can wait for everybody else.
Yeah? Boy, okay, they got something called manual.
Oh.
No, boy, it ain't right to keep you all back if other people slunging.
And my foot is soaked.
It looked like it was doing something that's not in this stuff. Anyhow. Sorry to do that. Oh, they tear it up. Anyhow, I tried. Ain't like I ain't tried. So, guess we gotta go the manual route. You have to refer to hard copy. Oh man. I don't know, maybe projectors is making it lazy, I guess. I have to keep depending on them.
There you go.
This is the best projector I've ever seen.
I think the corners of Charlotte.
Well, look here, I ain't touching nothing. Don't even look. Okay, so I can talk fast. Good morning, folks. I haven't seen you all in a while. So I think that everyone enjoyed the holiday, the Heroes holiday. And guess what? Good news. You got 2 more holidays coming up. Boxing Day and New Year's. So, oh, for Pete's sake, girl, don't start with that junk. So, today's topic: suspicious activity reports. As a compliance officer and a money laundering reporting officer, 2 core functions. When you hear money laundering reporting, everything starts and ends with you. Meaning you're the one who has to give the staff, you remember from last session, the training on what to look for. You can be the one who sign off and determine whether that is something that's warranted going on to the authorities, i.e. the Financial Intelligence Unit, for investigation and analysis. So you have to have this part down pat. This is like almost like the coup de grace of your job. Yeah, all the reports go through you. And then no one can pressure you into making the reports. You are the expert on whether or not this particular activity or transaction is suspicious and it should go on to the authorities. And most important, if it doesn't go on to the authorities, you have to justify why. Because if an examiner or auditor come behind it, well, that looks suspicious. You didn't see it suspicious? I said, yeah, it looks suspicious. But I didn't send it on to a girl, don't shake the table, I thought you was coming this way. So, but if you're not going to send it on to law enforcement, or i.e. the FIU, you have to make a note, and you have to put a memo to file onto that as to why. While it appeared to be suspicious, I didn't send it on because of X, Y, Z. I did further review. I had supporting documentation. It wasn't warranted, but you have to CYA. Cover your assets. Yeah? So the examiner come behind, oh, that looks suspicious. Yes, it looks suspicious. But there was mitigating circumstances why I didn't send it off. X, Y, and Z, it's on file. I like that shirt you got on the back there. Captain America, right? There you go. I ain't too big on the comic book stuff. But anyhow, so you need to make sure that's there as to why you didn't send the report on. But this is something that the FIU and you, that's your link. You're the one who sent all the suspicious reports to the FIU. They can know you very intimately. Once you become the compliance officer and MLRO, they can know you by name. They're the ones who have to register you. You don't just become an MLRO. You have to be registered. Oh, hey, girl. What's up? There you go. There it is. So, you're going to be the one who's going to be registered with the FIU. Before you can be registered, of course, in Central Bank Guideline, there's something called fit and proper. You have to meet the criteria to be a fit and proper compliance officer, MLRO. Meaning, they can ask, do you have any certification? That's the first thing they can ask. Well, everyone in this room can pass the test. So, I mean, well, prayerfully can pass the test. So that means you're certified. And whatever additional supplementary certifications you've gotten or received, that would make you certified. Then it's just a matter of getting your experience. Yeah? But then one of the questions they always ask as it relates to the FIU, do you have any awareness or knowledge of STRs? In the Bahamas, we call it suspicious transaction reports. You can hear some other jurisdictions call it SARs, suspicious activity reports, but they're pretty much the same, just a play on the name. But for all intents and purposes in the Bahamas, we call it suspicious transaction reports. SAR or suspicious activity report is the equivalent in some other jurisdictions, but it's the same thing. Yeah? Everything starts with you, ends with you, because you are the subject matter expert for your institution. Yeah? Everything goes through you. Oh, by the way, there's a little penalty coming along with that too. Failing to report this stuff. It's one thing when you're reporting it, or name reporting it and justifying, but when you don't report it and it's blatant, you're held responsible by the way. That's in law. And the fine, $20,000 for every instance that is covered when you didn't make that report. That's a lot of money. And your institution is charged $100,000. Question: if you cost your company $100,000, let's say 9 o'clock this morning, by 5 o'clock you think you can still be there? Hey guy, what's up? Here you go, Rev.
Thank you.
So by 5 o'clock, you probably wouldn't even be there. Yeah? But of course, cover yourself. Yeah? You cannot rely on someone to make a report on your behalf. The responsibility of making these reports is with you. The board can't pressure you. No one can pressure you or tell you, oh, you gotta do. No. That's why it's almost an autonomous function. While you work for the company, you're supposed to be pretty much independent from the business. Oh, hey, don't go too fast, Jacob. All right. So you're supposed to be almost independent from the business. And the reason why that's done is because so you wouldn't be clouded in your judgment. You can't be a part of the operations trying to make targets and bringing in money and then turning a blind eye to some suspicion. That's why they try to keep it separate and apart. You're an advisor. You're a trainer. You're a consultant. You can't be the one who's trying to bring in the money too and manage risk. Because if you got balance too, you're going to have to be obligated to one of the two other masters, right? And then when you think about the risk, you think, I really want me that risk, wait. We need bringing in money. I mean, yeah, he coming from Colombia and he bringing this white substance, but boy, we making a lot of money. So you can get a little clouded. Yeah? So we on the same page. Go on. Oh. So, our areas of discussion today, what is suspicion? What is you have the handouts by the way. The only reason I give it is because we only have a few. So who come in late? You don't have to share. But if you want to, you could copy it for them, but they don't have no paper here. So that's on them, they gotta take notes. So the areas of discussion, what is suspicion? I tell you to walk out here being suspicious of everything. The word you have to use and here you go. Don't go fast. Don't go fast. Here you go. Save that for you. So what you have to be mindful of is this word reasonable. Yeah? You have to apply reasonability or the common man test. Let me give you an example. You've been working in the bank now for 20 years. You should know what's normal for your client. Yeah? You're the one who opened the account. I'm little John Blow on the street, just walking by, minding my own business. If John Blow on the street looks at a transaction and say, boy, that looks suspicious, and you, the person who's been in the bank or financial institution for 20 years, say, I ain't seen nothing suspicious, what just happened there? The average man on the street, no banking experience, can pick out all kind of issues and say, boy, this is you the expert 20 years, I ain't see nothing there. I don't see what you're looking at. That means you fail the, what they call it, the average man on the street or the reasonability test. That's why they always say you gotta be reasonable with your suspicion. Yeah? If you see a transaction, the fella named Hugo Chavez Jr., the money coming from Venezuela, you have a positive world check hit. He is appearing on a caution list. The data boy appear to be similar. The money's hit the account, they go right back out, go to a high-risk jurisdiction, then come back. You see any suspicion there? But, hey, what's up? Here you go, Rev. So you see all the suspicion there? But then the experts are like, I ain't see nothing. That means that person, be a chair something in the back there, Rev. I know he might be saving that for the girl who's bringing tea. I guess they ain't got no tea this morning. Yeah. All right. So, and then we'll talk about what is suspicious transaction reports. We call it for short STRs. The FATF, which is the Financial Action Task Force, what's their position on these suspicious reports? What information should be captured on these reports? Because I've seen a few in my time. I guess when I was at the FIU for them 9 years, I was the one who received the suspicious reports from all the institutions. So I saw every single one over that 9-year period. Some institutions, they on their game. And some of them, boy, they need some work. Everyone is not going to be a writer. But the trick is this. Keep it simple. Yeah? Kiss. Keep it simple. Yeah, I don't say stupid, but keep it simple, you know? Because some people just try to, how should I put this? Some people are, how do I call it, learn it. And then they try to, to paint a picture for you and you're like, I started to see me going, no, you're going a lot off there, but keep it simple. Ain't no one trying to, you might have a vast vocabulary, right? And I was seeing one or two who came in when I was over there, and I had to go get a little dictionary. And I said, okay, oh, they meant withdrawal. But then the way they said it, the monies was extrapolated. I'm like, just keep it simple. I get it, you're smart, but you keep it simple, I gotta look up in the dictionary and all these words. Yeah, come on, man. Last one, I saved this just for you.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, so what information should be captured on the form? You don't want me to tea, right? You don't want to normally bring the tea first?
You go get it.
Yeah, you gotta go get it. Yeah. What happened when you got me your hands swinging? And it rained too. Should bring sauce.
I know, right?
So we also I'm gonna give you some tips on how to write a good SDR. Yeah, some stuff I was seeing over the years. It won't be in your book, even though you could look at the book. This is supplement to the book. The Financial Intelligence Unit, what is their role? Like I said, you're going to be the face for your organization. They don't liaise with no one else other than you. They don't talk to no one else other than you. If Central Bank have to come in and do an AML audit, everything starts with you. They ain't going to your MD, your CEO, it starts with you. You're the subject matter expert. And then, of course, tipping off, just a quick reminder on that, especially as it relates to these reports. There was a scenario we had at my institution. I never put our dirty laundry out there, but I trust everyone in here like family.
It's recorded.
So
It's recorded.
this young lady, she was a teller, and what happened is that the client came in. There was a report made on him, and we always tell you good customer service. You do chat for 2 minutes, no more. And she just started talking to the voice. Oh, you want such and such a business? Yeah, I saw your account. Yeah, because compliance was asking questions with your account, and she just was going on and on and on and all that good stuff, right? The brother, I must use the N-word, wrote a letter to the managing director and said that, your staff know all my business. And he said your compliance was asking questions. And the letter was so detailed, because when I saw my boss come and walking down the hall, I said, look at this woman, she say something bad. And she come with this, this coming to the letter. I didn't see her even. I said, what? Yeah, boss, what happened now? Look at what happened. Someone sent this letter saying that, the account and this and that, and compliance, looking at the account, monitoring, tipping off. She didn't know no better. I guess she thought she was doing good customer service. Sometimes dealing them out and not thinking sometimes they're not connected, and you're just giving out too much information. So the fella know now we monitoring his account. We suspected 1 or 2 transactions on the account. Hey, what's up? Well, suffice to say, there's a walker down we call it the green mile. That's HR. Yeah, we call it HR, where we can tell them, your services are no longer needed. How they operate, they always say that the institution has lost faith in you. And ain't no defense for that. So that's the end of that. I mean, it's a nice way of saying you're fired, That's one of the lines, yes, I want the letter. Anywhere you could get in there. I would have brought some chairs, but I didn't think much people was coming in the rain. Make sure you sit next to someone with a handout. They might smile on you and copy it. Yeah. So I didn't have enough paper because it was, this is something I do voluntarily, and I didn't have paper.
One more?
So to the next slide, we're gonna go on to boy. I tell you, boy. Blood of the stone. I tell you, boy. Thank God for Jesus. So, what is suspicion? Yeah? Everyone know what is suspicion. Yeah? Let me give you a scenario. Bishop, just say your daughter, right? Daddy, I met this fella. He named Marco. He smells very nice. He appears to be a hard worker. He's well built. He looks like he going places and everything. And you're like, what? My 18-year-old daughter finally met someone nice. Bring him over, man. We can have What you have for dinner? Bamboo? He coming over, we can have bamboo and whatever, we can sit down and talk. Fella come in, you know, all clean and everything, all nice and dressed up and everything, you know. Here, comb back and whatever, he got a little crimps beads, whatever. Okay, macho, sorry. That's a bad experience for you. So he got low hair, he got on a nice shirt and everything. He came in, he smelled very nice and everything, and he gave for him handshake, Bishop. Hey, macho, you know, he said, yeah, and he started telling you all these stories, same educated and everything. He's very smart and articulate and everything. So Bishop, you talking to the fella, and all of a sudden you notice he wearing an ankle monitor.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Any suspicions?
Oh yeah. Yes.
I be cleaning my gun.
You be cleaning your car? Your gun? In the front of the fella?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So ankle monitor or not, I ain't worried about that.
But I'm just trying to get to this thing with suspicion. You be suspicious. Because normally when you got, you know that I know cell phone. He got the big thing on the light flashing on his ankle and everything. He appears to be a nice fella and all that good stuff. But your suspicion would be aroused. First thing you gotta ask, wonder what he do? What is he, a smart robber? I know he robbed someone. You don't mind that nice talk and whatever. So you would be suspicious. Yeah? So what is suspicion? A belief or idea that something may be true. Yeah? You may not have evidence, but then there's enough smoke to suggest that there was a fire. Yeah? So this is arousing your belief that something may be true. You know? You read upon sometimes you get, boy, he do that. You ain't got that. You just got something your suspicion aroused. Example, you have a suspicion. Okay, you have a suspicion that something, that he was up to something. As an example, I know he was up to something. You know, I just couldn't put. You ever hear someone say that you have a gut feeling? Well, when you're doing these reports, you need to have more than gut feeling now. It has to be reasonable. You can't say, oh yeah, boy, they found they got money. You know where they come from. Yeah, boy, they in the drugs. It got to be more than a gut feeling. They have been fooling with me all along, and I had no suspicion. Yeah? You ever walked into a function and you wonder, why they gave me this dark room? Then everyone, surprise, happy birthday! You're like, I should have known something, you know. All them cars in my yard, all the lights off the house, but I didn't know. But when I walk in, everyone just said, surprise, you know. I mean, it wouldn't work if you have a pacemaker. But I mean, if you walk in, no, it will be a surprise on them. But you wouldn't, that wasn't be something suspicious. You say, boy, I know something suspicious, you know. I saw my auntie car, some of my colleagues' car, all these cars in my yard, but all the lights off in the house. Hey, girl. Oh, you can be, yeah, sorry, but I mean, didn't, yeah. And then there's the next one here, say, I had no suspicion that she only liked me for my money. Yeah. And that normally comes out during, like, when they have, like, the divorce proceedings. So the suspicion is there, right? Sorry? What's that, Bishop? It's a question?
No, I didn't say that.
So everyone have an idea or comfortable with suspicion, right? You may not have evidence, but your belief in something being wrong was aroused. Yeah? And there's normally indicators, or what we call in the business red flags. Like how you went home, you see all the cars, all the light off, and the person telling you, come, just, no, you walk in front. No, yeah, open your door, that's your door. And then you got the surprise. Yeah? Suspicion. Everyone is comfortable with suspicion, yes? Hallelujah. Just for the folks who came in sort of late, we didn't have enough handouts, so the first 10 persons got. So unfortunately, that's how it is. I didn't have enough paper, and the folks here said that their printer or copy ain't working. So, I mean, if you want to take notes, by all means, and it's just supplemental. We're trying to get you folks in and out on time because the folks who came here earlier, we started from 8:30, right? So we know what suspicion. Well, I ain't worrying about that. Dunkin' Donuts in the back here. So you know what suspicion is. You know what's going to arouse your suspicion. The same thing applies with at your institution. You're going to have something called red flag indicators. If you know this person does X, Y, and Z, you're the relationship manager, you know what's normal for this client. It's whenever they start to act outside of that account opening mandate, which you're familiar with what they're doing, and you cannot get a satisfactory explanation as to what these transactions represent. Now you can deem it unusual, because they would have passed the reasonability test, you know? So what is a suspicious transaction report? These are the reports that the MLRO, the Money Laundering Reporting Officer, / compliance officer, it depends if you have dual function, makes to the authorities. And the authority is the Financial Intelligence Unit. If you see something very suspicious, and it's warranted that it's investigated by the authorities, the FIU, then you would complete that report. So STR, that's just an industry term, instead of saying the whole thing of suspicious transaction report. An STR is a piece of information which alerts law enforcement that certain client customer activity is in some way suspicious and might suggest or indicate money laundering or terrorist financing. You'll ever wonder about this sometimes. You always hear police had a raid on this house in, let's just say, Coral Harbor. It's a nice community. That don't happen in Coral Harbor. Or in what's the place, the nice place out west now? No, not Harbor. The going towards past the airport. The no, just past that. Old Fort Bay. You all of a sudden, you know, well, why would you be going in Old Fort Bay? I mean, only clean people there, right? Rich, clean people, right? But then they had a something alerted them. Sometimes these so-called suspicious transaction reports can be the missing piece of a puzzle. You think law enforcement know everything? They don't know everything. They ain't that smart. This ain't like Matlock or Murder She Wrote, where they can figure stuff out. They need help sometimes. These little pieces of information are what they call indicators or alerters. It's almost like a big neon sign, because they have a financial investigative section in the drug enforcement unit. But when the banks and financial institutions funneling this information, like, hey, John Doe, his account activity is exceeding the potential. We notice some stuff going on with this account or that account. All that information is funneled into their intelligence unit. Bishop, you know, but the certain area in DU, I ain't gonna talk about. I can leave that alone, because some officers in there who you just never see. They actually recruit these fellas right out of training, so you would never know them, and they just go right in there. And all they do is collect intelligence. They walk around all day, and they collecting all this intelligence, put in this big database. So they say, hey, boy, we got a lot of information on Bishop. We got 5 separate reports on Bishop. Money's coming in, transactions, wires. Next thing you know, they doing surveillance on him. Then all of a sudden you hear intelligence-led police, and you hear the intelligence coming from where? Institutions. And all of a sudden now they do the sting operation. They go on an all Fort Bay, they find all these kilos in Bishop House. Yeah? So this is how they re-alert law enforcement on suspicious activity as relates to financial transactions. Get it? So this is how law enforcement is alerted. All these reports will not be actioned or something that they would jump on. Sometimes it could be dead and they may just file it for intelligence purposes. But if you keep getting a report on Bishop in the back there, they say, boy, you know what? You got all these different banks, financial institutions making these reports on Bishop. We need to do surveillance on Bishop. He doing something, either drugs or fraud. Boy, I got one customer whose name I'm gonna call, but you all know what it is. But I ain't gonna touch that one. I can leave that one alone because it's being recorded and everyone in here ain't safe. So next thing you know, I hear my name called and something again. No boy, Patsy's a needy job. So, but they do all this information, tidbits of information. You may think, oh, ain't nothing to that. Yeah. But you have a legal obligation to report it. You remember that fine of $20,000 where it's warranted? Who in here got 20 grand that in disposable income that they could just pay off the fine? I mean, it ain't a lot of money. It's only 20 grand. But who has that kind of money just to say, oh, well, it's a fine, I'll just pay it. Ain't no big thing. 20 grand is a lot of money. That's someone's salary for a year. So don't take that lightly. One of the things you got to be mindful as MLROs is that your name is very important in the industry. If you want to last long in this game, you got to protect your name. Because if you're known as a slacker, they say, oh, Bishop get fined again? What? Bishop slacky or what? Boy, we talk in the community. You notice they got like, let's just say about more than 300 MLROs in this country. That's a lot of people walking around saying there's MLRO. How much hours you see in the paper for compliance in MLRO? Do you think it's a lot? No, it ain't a lot. We know who's who by word of mouth. Because people call you up, hey Bishop, I getting ready to leave this job. They joking. I see something better. You want this? Send your application in. Fox doesn't get in quick, but they look at, oh, I gotta go. And they would, but that's how we communicate. We talk to one another. Someone called me the other day, I remember they was doing at Bahama, and they said, wait, we got an opening. I said, yeah, what is it? You know the first question we asked, right? People always ask, oh, you asked for parking. I said, no, help me, that's not how much they paying. I ain't even right there right now, and I trying to make pension. So, what they saying, you know, the first thing you ask was, what they paying, and I say, they tell me all the good stuff, but oh, you get free food to the calf. And I say, oh, right. You get insurance. I mean, like, you know, these stuff like, yeah, okay. And I mentioned the calf. I said, yeah, you mentioned the calf. So you get calf parking and all that stuff, and you get your 4 weeks vacation. I said, all that sound good, right? And they say, oh, so what you saying? I said, but you ain't answering the most important thing yet. Man.
Yeah.
And when the young lady told me, I was like, oh. But I could use some suggestions. I could suggest some people to you.
I know that.
You know that man, right? Because let's be real. You ain't trying to go back to Egypt. You trying to advance in life, right? I trying to get out of bondage. I ain't trying to go back there and be breaking up no rocks. What she told me, and I was like, no, that ain't a fly. Anyone in here prepared to take a $25,000 pay cut?
Oh no.
Okay, so that end that story, right? But then she started telling me, well, there's room for growth. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good and everything, but I taking on a big risk. When you talk about being the MLRO for Obama, and then you can be my boss, but I taking on the risk. I said, well, you know. She said, well, there's room for growth. I said, yeah, that's nice and everything, but I know some people who need to grow. I gave a couple names and whatever. But I wasn't into that. No. But so everything starts and ends.
I just say $25,000 increase is better.
Yeah, because they start talking your language, yeah, because let's be real. MLRs have a shelf life. Believe it or not. You're not going to be in this game forever. So I ain't trying to sound like I always talk about the money all the time, but you have to. You think you're in a class here on a Saturday because you ain't got nothing better to do? You think you getting these certifications because you just like having all that stuff behind your name? You have to get a return on this. You're investing right now. So when someone can tell you, oh, but if you come, there's room for growth and give it time, and like, yeah, well, it ain't. No. I need to start, get some tangible return on my investment. You know what I'm saying? That's just life. And like I said, you have a shelf life, meaning at some point you'll either leave the institution, they can fire you, or you retire or something, and you need something to fall back on. Mm-hmm. You're doing this right now so you could build a nest egg or invest or something. And please, when you start making them MLR salaries, the decent MLR salaries, don't blow all your money. Put some away, invest some money, Please put some of your money aside. So I had an incident this year, only between us, right? I don't hear this again. I lost $7,000 this year in so-called investment. I was like, man, that sounds so good, boy, and I should know better, but I was depending on someone, and I should have done my due diligence. But the person come, they gave me the story. I said, all right, $7,000, I ain't nothing to talk about. Boy, after I lost my money, I go right by Arawaki here. I ain't going to buy nothing. I go right by Arawaki, and I just sit there and just looking at the waves. Man, I was not right. Man, I was crying. And I said, 7,000 with the glass up, and then you should hear me in the car. Do you think I having a revival in that car, boy? I was carrying on bad, boy. And of course, you can't go home and say, you know what happened. And I gotta try to get a second job to put that back. But what I'm saying is you got to make sound investments too. What? Sorry? Bishop, I don't like you no more. You start out like a nice fella, but anyhow. But I'm saying all that to say that you gotta monitor your money and your investments, because there will be a day when you can't pull in the kind of money like how you used to. I had a friend of mine who was an MLRO. He called me. I ain't gonna call his name. He's from an institution out west by the Government Bay Center, but I ain't call the name of the institution. He called me and he said, boy, Guess what? I said, what happened? They tell me they let me go. I said, no man, I dead man, I hot. I said, wait, okay, what you want to do? You want to just ride? What you can do? So I was, so when he started telling me this, you know, I said, I hot. I said, man, you give them blood, sweat, and tears for the last what? How long you been in? 5 years or so? Normally MLRs, an average is 3 years, the institution. Because if you're a good MLR, people throw money at you. They'll say, hey, you want to come over here? And you think about it. But he was there for 5 years. And he said that they told him this on a Wednesday. They said the Friday will be your last day. You can imagine someone telling you that. And I know he's down in age. Because he was, I think he's like 62. And then you know they looking at the age. And guess what? Yes, they look at that too. Age is a factor too. Don't let no one fool you. Even though he has all that wealth of knowledge and all that stuff, he lectured and all the stuff, they wanted to buy him out. They said that we going in a different direction. He said that hurt him, man. So the only thing was soften the blow is they gave him a little check. Hey, so you will need to get a chair. Because they run on the chairs from the next class. Okay. So he was telling me about it and they gave him a check for $175,000. Ain't every day you can get that in your hand. You know? I said, dude, you around here crying, your house paid up? Yeah. Your children, they all grown? Yeah. They finished college? Yeah. You get $175 in your hand? And he started running on with the principal and all the different stuff. Well, you got the $175 in my hand right now. $175,000 that is in my hand right now. What? I'll go to my boss them and I'll start speaking my mind. Ain't every day you can get that kind of money in your hand. But you have to invest it. Blow his money like crazy. Go and get a nice car and stuff. Dude, you at 62. You need to invest that money because you ain't sure you can get the next gig. Yeah? So you got to invest that money right. How we get off track? Okay, so suspicious transaction reports, you know what is suspicion. Where it's warranted, you need to submit these reports onto the authorities, which is the FIU, and you have to cover yourself. If you don't submit the report, you have to indicate why. For every one of those, you know, you'll have to say, I didn't because of this. Whether you have a form to do it, or you have you can put what we call a memo to file, type something, stick it on there, this is why I didn't go. It's to cover you. Yeah? And it's for audit. What laws and standards are we governed by? Remember I stated earlier that there are going to be penalties for not submitting these SDRs? Yeah. 20 grand. For every instance that is discovered that you didn't make the report and your institution, 100 grand. They got all the laws and all that stuff. Yeah, that's good. This would have sobered me up when I think about that penalty. Because that's a lot of money. And you know they can fire you. Because if you cost the company 100 grand, you're probably gone. Yeah? You are governed by laws. You have something called POCA, Proceeds of Crime Act, which says that you need to report these suspicious activity reports. You have the FIU Act, which speaks to suspicious transaction reports. And you have the Central Bank AML guidelines, which say that once you form reasonable suspicion, remember we keep going back to suspicion, reasonable, then you need to make the report. So you're governed by laws, whether it's the Proceeds of Crime Act, the FIU Act, or the Central Bank AML guidelines. Yeah? And it's best international practice to file a suspicious transaction report where you would have formed suspicion. So you ain't got no excuse. When you sit down and say, I know you know. Well, this law don't say it. You have internal policy. Then you got international guidelines. And you got regulations. You cover it from all different angles. You have to report. Yeah? And when you don't report, show justification as to why you didn't. And it's documented. It has to be documented. Yeah? Yeah? FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, which is the international standard bearer for all AML and terrorist financing, they make the rules. They're the big countries, the big boys. We don't make no rules, by the way. We just, whatever rules they come up with, we go to Parliament and make legislation to mirror that and bring it in line with their best practice and standard. So whenever you hear MP say, oh, we're not going to do that. We're not going to have the public registry information and all that. Yeah, that you can have before the year out though. So once they make the rules, and if you want to continue in the financial sector or be effective, We have to comply. Under part of recommendation 20, it states if a financial institution suspects or has reasonable, you see that word just keep coming? Reasonable grounds to suspect that funds are the proceeds of criminal activity or are related to terrorist financing, it should be required by law. By law. It ain't something that you just making up or going along with the program. It's by law. This is what the international standard for the world says, that by law, it should be in law, you're required to report promptly. Now they ain't say how soon, but for us in the Bahamas, it's 48 hours. Once you have knowledge, you need to, at least within 48 hours, make that report to the FIU. And the report doesn't have to be in writing. You can make a verbal report with that subsequent hard copy following. Yeah? But what you do, you document it. On such and such a day, I spoke with Randy Taylor, the head of analysis at the FIU. Such and such a time, I conveyed my concern, whatever. You document. You have to document everything. Because you know what happens when you don't document anything? You ain't got nothing to fall back on. And it don't hurt if you have someone there with you, maybe when you make that call, to validate what you're saying, yeah. Because sometimes things really divine. And then you'll be like in no man's land, and that's a lonely place to be. I've been there before. So, learn from me. And the report should be promptly reported, the suspicion, that is, to the FIU, which is the Financial Intelligence Unit. They're located right here on Frederick Street, in the Norfolk House on the 3rd floor. They've been there from 2000. You know, after the blacklisting, the international standard said that we had to create what's called a FIU. So when we got blacklisted, Hubert Ingram at the time said that we need to get off this list. One of the requirements to get off the blacklisting was to create what's called the FIU. And at the time, I was floating somewhere else, and the person, Mr. Strawn, the former deputy commissioner, the prime minister at the time, said, look here, get a crew of fellas, whatever you need, form this thing called FIU. I don't know what that is, but let's form it. So Mr. Strawn, he got Ed Smith at the time, Edward Smith, who was superintendent of police, and they said they need at least 6 persons who got some financial investigation experience. So I hear this knock on my door, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yeah, that ain't the landlord. No, that ain't Commonwealth. No, okay. So I go on to see. What? I got issues back there. Let's keep it real. I got issues. And Commonwealth Bank is coming. You know how you always operate. Come around with them tow truck in the night. That's why there was the park in the front of the yard. That's the park around the corner. I walked to the park to get to the yard. Y'all think y'all smart. So Edward Smith at the time, he came and he said that Hubert Ingram gave him this mandate to create this FIU, and he said, look, I want you on my team. I said, well, yeah, I know about that right now. I was doing a little break at Atlantis at the time. It wasn't nothing to talk about. I mean, I was sort of embarrassed with what I was doing. But anyhow, you got to pay your bills, right? Yeah. So I was over there, and I said, well, I know, Atlantis, they all right now. You got a calf. You can go in the calf and you can get all the food you want and free parking. So, huh? No, once you're to work, you just feed you now. Even when you're in the work, you just pretend like you're to work and get food. So when he told me, he said, well, okay, so this is what we can start you off with. I said, well, yes, that's the desperate point in the right spot. He said, yeah. I said, what? I said, all right. And I wouldn't lie to you all. I went and I did my resignation letter.
Next day.
No, I gave him 2 days. Because I remember I went and I thought about it and I typed it up and I just pushed it under Basil Dane. He was alive then. I just pushed it under this door and I said, well, Chief, you got 7 more days of me here, and I'm like, just letting you know. And it's all right, I guess if you found something better, by all means. So the FIU was created. We formed a team over there, and I stayed with them for 9 years. But it was something new. We didn't know what to expect. So we've seen all these reports coming from the institutions. And some people send some weird stuff. I mean, like, he appeared to be suspicious. He had dreadlocks all the way down to his back. He eyes red. I know he sell dope. I'm like, do it really? I mean,
Discrimination.
yeah, I mean, like, reasonable. I mean, like, if you said something like he came in with a satchel of cash, and the money had, like, white powder on it. There was herbs sent on him, emanating from his body. He was asking questions such as, how do I get around this? Or, you know, what's your compliance structure look like? Or why do I need to fill this form? Or how do I get around? Stuff like that. How do I evade requirements? Stuff like that. Very suspicious. Not because the dude come in and get dreads. I mean, everyone got dreads now. They ain't mean no roster. Yeah? So we saw a lot of stuff in the initial stages. So at the FIU level, international standard, you have to report suspicious transaction. Yeah? All financial suspicious transactions we talking about. Not with the dreads, pants sagging and your eye red, all that stuff, you know? As it relates to the Bahamas, the FTRA, Financial Transaction Reporting Act, by the way, it was updated this year. You all know the amendments were this year, done this year. But Section 3, Part 3, Section 14 states, shall, as soon as practicable after forming that suspicion, report that transaction or proposed transaction. So it didn't have to be a transaction that actually completed. It could be something that the person was thinking about doing or attempting to do. You need to report that to the FIU. So you see that? That's in our law. The international law saying you need to have law as it relates to the SDRs, and then we created the FTRA with saying, hey, soon as possible, soon as practical, it could be a phone call, 48 hours or less. Yeah. Please note, no civil, criminal, or disciplinary proceeding shall lie against any person who does or make a report in good faith. It can't be malicious. You can't say, okay, that's my neighbor, he buying with us. Look at him, putting up that big wall. You got a nice car. Yeah. I can do a report on him. That's malicious. You can't do something like that. That's just pure evil. Yeah? That's just hating. So it has to be reasonable. But once it's done in good faith, we call it in safe harbor, you're protected. Yeah?
So anybody can file a report, right?
Anyone.
General law.
Anyone can do that. But the thing about it, when I was there, we had all kind of reports, poison, but then we say, okay, we hear what you're saying. How do you substantiate some of this? Anyone could come make a report, but how do you substantiate? And then you can't really act on nothing. I mean, of hearsay, third party, and whatever. You need something substantive. Yeah, it's more credible coming from a financial institution as opposed to someone who call it, yeah, boy, they got one big wall, it's a white wall, they live right in Coral Harbor, View Drive. You can't miss it, but these dudes, they're putting up all kind of stuff. Boy, you gotta pass there, you all gotta, anyhow, I gotta go. Something like that,
Yeah.
as opposed to a bank sending you documentation, account opening information, photo ID, highlighting the actual transaction, indicating the red flags. Which one is more credible? I'll take that any day over a phone call. Yeah, because people could be malicious. How many times person hate you for having a nice car? You know, you got a nice job and they go, look at him. Horse and sheep tie. I so hate him. But I mean, it happens. It happens. So this is our law, which speaks to that. It's in your pocket. Well, if you who don't have a handout, you may have to write it down. But under the FTRA, Financial Transaction Reporting Act, Part 3, Section 14, which makes it mandatory. So it's never woulda, coulda, shoulda. The law say, you gotta do it. Because it's up to me. I probably wouldn't do half of the stuff. But when you hear stuff like in law that says, shall, must, you know. But when they ain't give you much, you know. I hate when central bank now, they've changed some of the verbiage. Now in their directives, they have words like must. And then they bold it. Look at this foolishness, eh? Whenever you see words in law and they bold it and stuff like must, that means the penalty attached to it. So you don't have to think about that. Once you see words like must, underline or bold, that means you better do it. There's no room for negotiation like you may. When they say you may do it, they say I may do it. I mean, may mean I do it if I feel like doing it. When you see that shall, underline, bold and stuff like that, don't take chances with your wallet. Yeah, on your job. On your freedom, because when you can't pay the fine, they always tell you, oh, well, you just do 2 years in jail or whatever. Ain't no thing. There ain't no one in here won't go to jail for 2 years, right? 2 years. 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 There you go. So, reporting suspicions to the MLRO. So remember how we discussed during the last session where you're the trainers. You have to train staff on what to look for. So when they see something suspicious, they can report it to you. So the reporting lines to suspicion should be as short as possible. Anyone know why? Let me
Or to keep so much people out of it.
primarily, yeah. Let me give you another example. See, I didn't get your last name. Yes. Oh, Miss Morse. Okay, so Miss Morse is in the back there, right? And I start off with Miss Coleman here. So I gave her some information. You're the MLRO. And she has to pass that down to every single person, then it gets to you at the very back. How much versions of that story you think that reached you by the end of the day? You can imagine how that story could be a little jackal up, right? You know, because let's be real now. Behemoths, we like to sensationalize some stuff now. We could tell a tale. That's why you need to keep that line of communication as short as possible. If you can be direct from me to you, I'm conveying my thoughts directly to you. But if I gotta include the 12 other persons in the gap before I hit to you, you know how we got. Some of us are, what's the word, creative with words, and we like to add on. At times I get to you, be like, man, look, they had a hostage situation and all kind of foolishness going down. Keep the line as short as possible. If your staff are, we also in training sessions, you have a suspicion, just open door policy. As the MLRO, you got to be someone who is approachable. You know, because I remember when I first went to my institution, they tell me, "Oh, you don't look approachable." I mean, so I say, "Oh, that's true," you know. So after that, I started opening my door, start talking more, you know, and whatever. And it was more approachable because when I first went there, they said, "Oh, look at this, where they all bring this psycho from." And I said, "I don't talk to you. You don't even know no better." And then I said, "Well, you know what? That's why I ain't getting no reports, you know, because you have to be approachable. You have to be stern too. You can't just let be low fence. People will run over you, but you got to be stern, approachable, and hear what people are saying. Sometimes it may not be highly suspicious. That's why you gotta, how should I put this? Gingerly tell them it has to be reasonable. Yeah?
You work, Mr. Taylor.
Sorry? I don't mind. Man, behave. So, I forget what I said. Oh yeah. So the reporting line should be as short as possible, so to avoid all that add-ons and persons are giving information that's not a part of what actually took place. You got to operate in facts. You know, some of us got a little imagination, and some of us was very good at creative writing and expression, so we don't need all of that creative stuff. The reporting requirements and procedures should be communicated to all staff. You're going to be the training officer, so you need to let staff know, hey, this is what we do when you have a suspicion. We have a manual. We have an internal intranet. If you're not sure, you can go and look at it. Or you have questions or concern, you can come to me, and I'll tell you what it is or whatever. But you have to make sure that they know, so they can't plead ignorance. You know, people do that. You know, I ain't know. Ain't no one ever tell me how to turn the light bulb on. Yes, it's something called a switch, up and down. So if you never told me, I don't know. You have to educate your staff. Sorry? Okay. The MLRO signs off on all reports sent to the FIU. Your signature, remember I stated earlier, is what you're getting paid for. You know why? Because if anything go wrong, someone have to be accountable. So that's why when they say MLRO signs off, because if they got a client they want to onboard, he's very high risk, senior management is leaning on you to say that, hey, what is compliance thoughts on that? Are they comfortable? Because you're the subject matter expert, it's okay. Well, if Rev sign off on that, you know, be comfortable. There's a level of comfort because he's the subject matter expert. Your signature is what you're being paid for 80% of the time. And those reports that go to the FIU, they're looking for your signature and not someone else who decided who want to play MLR that day and come and send it. Hold on, I don't know this person. Who are you? Remember that story with the guy named remember the guy, the sons of Skive? I think the sons of Skive, they said, oh, we can take the demons out. Remember? They trying to play like they as apostles. Anyone want to read the Bible? Okay. Sons of Sceva, remember they saw Jesus exercising all these demons and all that stuff. Remember they thought they could take out demons to just say, oh, speak the word, and then the demons will come out. And the demon said that, yeah, Jesus we know. Paul and Saul and we know. But you don't know y'all. No one ever heard that story. That's a serious thing, eh? Oh no, you didn't go to Sunday school. I knew it. No one. I said
Yeah, you missing on this stuff. You calling wrong names.
the sons of Sceva. That's what they were, the sons of Sceva. Look, go anyone here to Google, internet access, you can look it up. And they, you know what, let's go after this. Okay, so the fourth bullet point.
But you got no key?
Huh? Yeah, I'm working on that though. They're still working on me. So the MLRO again, accountable for all reports. So like I said, you know, someone else might have an idea, but no. You're the person who's the subject matter expert. You're the trained person. You are the face of the organization. So you are the accountable person. That's why in law it says that the MLRO should be fined in instances where they don't do this and that. They don't worry about the MD, you know, or the clerk or the receptionist or the relationship managers. MLRO. You name MLRO, that's the person who's accountable. Well, y'all go. They can catch me on the run. No, boy, I can't do jail. So the accountability for all reports, both parts of the FIU, and those set aside, rest with the MLRO. So you are the accountable person. Yeah? What's the MLRO's role as it relates to the STRs? Principal objective of the MLRO is to act as the focal point. So everything is routed through you. Everything starts and ends with you within the financial institution for the oversight of all activity relating to the prevention and detection of money laundering. So you're the go-to person. It's amazing, right? You're expected to be everywhere, know everything and everything, but you're paying for your signature and you're the accountable person. You hold your hand up and say, I'll be accountable, I'll take on that job. It comes with the territory. So you be careful what you ask for. You got to figure out how you're going to cover up all those stuff and make sure staff are trained and you put mechanisms in place, controls in place that are on you. The MLRO undertakes to ensure the internal review of all suspicions in light of all available relevant information. There should be no information that's unaccessible to the MLRO. None. Because at my institution, well, I ain't gonna say where it is, I keep it like that. Information that I need, you should have what they call unfettered access. That means if you call for it, they have to provide it. I need statements from the inception of the account. I need ID, I need credit card history, I need everything, and I need it. And this is the timeline. They have to provide it. Now, I know your institution weak, but for us, once it comes from us, compliance, they need to provide it. That's in our policy. Because if you don't, and you have to provide law enforcement or regulators with information, we leave ourselves exposed to fines and penalties. Yeah? So they can tell you, oh, they're dragging their feet and all that. But as soon as you start mentioning stuff like fines and penalties, and they ain't moving fast enough, they say stuff like, it'll affect your profits. Oh, board don't like to hear that word profit. They're really like, you want to get the board to move faster to get leverage? Say profits. You say, I need to get an additional staff. Oh, compliance doesn't generate any revenue on me. It's okay, no problem, but we behind on our reporting, and it's the penalty is like 200,000. Oh, we don't know. Okay, remember that report you gave to the shareholders? Penalties will be this much, and it will detract from the bottom line. Oh, so it will affect our profits? Yeah, okay. You just need one staff, right? That's it, right? Just one. We can give you one. That's it, right? Yeah, I need another body. Okay, we can make that happen. Anything we're going to affect their profits, they don't like to hear that. I mean, it's just, leverage. So what information should be captured in an STR? You got this report. You see there was some suspicion. Some basic information you need to include in there. Let me ask, me start off by saying this. Who do you like to go to the movies? Anyone? Going to the movies? Not the Galleria. Let's talk about the high end. We talking about the one by the lake. That one would have 4D. The chair gonna be moving, they gonna be the water gonna be coming out of the ceiling and all that stuff. You can actually have 4D. You know, there's stuff the wind blowing on your ears and all that stuff on the chair, rocking like that and all that. And you're wearing the glasses and like you could touch stuff 4D. And by the way, the ticket's gonna be like $35. It ain't like gallery where you gonna be spending no $10. They're going to $35. Cool thing about that, you can sit down in the chair in the VIP. They bring the food to you. You ain't gotta go in no line. That's the good thing. I mean, you can do that. That's something like that. You do like what, once every quarter, unless you unless it's a $35 for
It's
ticket.
kind of like that, man. They want me there every week.
So what if
They
you?
have a babysitting thing too, so you could. It's
Yeah,
a good
but
outing to
$35
take
a ticket though. You ain't missing that piece there. Ain't all gone far. $35 a ticket.
That's right.
No, I ain't back yet.
Buy lunch.
Just to go to catch a movie, I guess. It's an experience, they say. You know. The reason why I mentioned we're going to see a good movie, right? How often do you go to see a good movie and you always go and watch the movie right in the middle? You ever had someone who always dragging their feet, and every time you got to go to the movie, you always catching like the middle. You got to figure out what's happening. You've never had a friend like that? I had a friend like that. Every time we got to go, they dragging their feet. We always like in the middle of the movie. You're like, you got to like, well, okay, there's a car chase. What led up to this car chase? I mean, like, you know, like, mothers, you got to friggin' piece this thing together, and at the very end, they're like, everyone happy, and then you're like, but what went wrong with the family to get to this point? The reason why I mention that is because STRs, suspicious transaction reports, just like telling the story. Law enforcement the one here in the middle, then he left the bank with the money. You're like, what the hell? How did he get to the bank? And you were telling the story like from the middle. Everyone here like Lifetime. Y'all always watch it from the beginning. Y'all don't wait until like middle of the movie, then y'all start watching, trying to figure out, you know, why did he kill his wife? You know the guy can die then. We know that, but what led to this? Why he got stopped? You know?
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say that you have to tell a story. Basically, STRs, just telling a story. Factual. Without that layer, adding all them extra stuff. I've seen a lot where people, I was reading one, and I was like, when she can get to the point, you know, when you go on to the next page, a good STR is normally 1 page. In extreme cases, maybe 1.5. But you see them reports coming, I see like 4 or 5. What the hell are they telling me here? And you go and you're like, oh, this is going to be
They're
long.
repeating the same thing over and over, just in a different way.
It
They
just,
drawing out too much.
we draw it. It's like, I don't need to know all of this piece right here. And like, how, but it's telling, you know, it's telling a story. It's telling a story, but you need to keep it as simple as possible. Fact laden. Not all that other stuff before he came to the bank. It was a
And
Thursday,
And then,
8 o'clock. The ranger stopped. He came in with his satchel like, dude, I don't need to know all of that. I just need to know the facts. Keep it simple. So, what information should be captured? The report normally includes information about where the transaction took place. You know, it took place in Nassau, Bahamas, at First Grove in Shirley Street. WAP! I don't need to know this fella was born in Argentina. He flew over and whatever, all that. Where did the transaction take place? Was it at your Shirley Street branch, your Modern Marathon branch? Just where? Yeah? Keep it simple. How the transaction started? How? He came, was it over the counter? Was it online? That's, you know, how. How the transaction was completed. He left the bank, got a receipt, whatever, came in. It was online. He did it online by way of the internet banking. Account information. Is he the holder of the account? John Doe, the holder of account ABC, checking account ABCD, whatever. It was open on the 5th of March, whatever. Good. Cool. Basic information. Yeah? The potential activity on the account, when he opened the account, he said there would only be $1,000 coming in. $500 going out per month. Basic stuff like that. Who conducted the transaction? Was it John Doe, the same account holder who did the transaction? Or was it a third party? Including any organization or other individual on whose behalf it was conducted. If there was a third party involved, indicate. Other than that, speak to the account holder. Keeping it very simple. Why the activity was suspicious to you. That's the part right there. What aroused your suspicion? Yeah, you can't just keep saying dreads, because everyone who got dreads ain't really Rasta. So, I mean, it ain't just the dreads. So, basic stuff like that. And for me, I always use the 5 W's. What, where, who, why. Once you can answer those stuff, you know, who's involved, where it took place, why, who, what, when, who, where, where. That's it. You pretty much got that right down. You're telling a story. From the time the inception of the account, what took place, what arose your suspicion. You're just telling a story. You got your beginning, your middle, conclusion. Your conclusion is really why it's suspicious to you. Yeah? I mean, if you got questions, by all means, ask me now. So how do you write a quality report? You ain't got to be no expert, you know. Just keep it simple. Avoid using jargon. There's some terms in your institution that I don't even know. I have a boss there. She say, the I-25. How that looking? And I was like, hold on one second. Hey, June, what is I-25? Oh, that's what that is? Jeez. Yeah, they're looking good. So you gotta avoid stuff that don't assume everyone knows all of your terminology. You think police know all your financial institution terminology? Police ain't that smart, you know. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say they're dumb, but I mean, they don't know all the inner workings. Yeah? So the acronyms and terms that you would use, they probably wouldn't even know. Yeah? So when I hear, I was just talking to the officer the other day, and I said, yeah, well, I was looking at a GRT report, and so and so and so. And he's like, and I was like, you following me? And he said, no. I said, what's the problem? He said, well, I got a list of stuff here. What is this and that and that? I said, oh, I see why. Be mindful of that. So, you can see this, everyone can see this. How do you write a quality report? Structure should be logical format. Yeah? I mean, think about how you would write an essay. Essay is normally a thesis, introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Basic format. Include all relevant information. Relevant, underline relevant. Stuff that they don't need to know. He came in and he had his girlfriend with him. He had a young baby. Eating ice cream. All that negative. We call it white noise. All that excess stuff, you don't need that. Yeah? Just the relevant stuff that led up to this suspicion. Anything else? We don't need that. Hit on the 5 W's. Remember the 5 W's? Who was involved? What took place? Why did it take place? When and where? You got the 5 W's, you pretty much got the basic format. Basic format. Once you answer the 5 W's, that's all law enforcement really wants, you know. Who, what, when, where, why. It is helpful to provide a chronological sequence of events. That's why I say you don't want to start from the middle. Because I mean, I don't know what took place in the beginning. You give me the middle, and then you have the conclusion. So now I got to go back and watch get another movie ticket just to watch that for 30 minutes. Or wait till you get on bootleg. So you try to keep the content clear, concise, and simple. Keep it simple. You don't have to write these dissertations and all that stuff. Keep it simple. And again, I have bold on your handout. Leave the jargon out. All those technical terms, don't assume everybody knows. Because we probably don't know. Even in my institution, a lot of stuff that we use in compliance, the average staff don't even know what that represents. So you keep it simple. Avoid technical terms, product names, because there's some names that I have a staff member. I think she's very intelligent, but she's smart. She said, I'm glad that you signed my form 8807. And I said, the what? You did the 8807? I said, the what? She said the leave request form. I said, say that. What the hell I know about 8807? You gotta talk English around me. You want to go on leave? Tell me you want to go on vacation. Don't tell me you sign the 8807. I said, where I can find that? It's right next to the GRT. I said, what? Talk English. And or you just wouldn't get a sign. You about someone like that, you wake them up. I mean, yeah, it's good, man, because sometimes I ain't gonna lie, and I be like, hey, where I can find the 605? She said, it's right next to the 8807. I was like, and where do I find that? It's on the internet. Next to what? Next to the GRT. And I was like, Lord, if you can have patience. But she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
And every time I get lost, I say, hey, put your chair right here. Come, put your chair right here. I can't find X, Y, and Z. But she knew where to find stuff. And you know how it makes her a diverse team, by the way. Everyone, I a little rough around the edges in some areas, right? But she's the one who, she's like, have an eye for detail. That's good. The FIU, better known as FIU is the acronym, but it's the Financial Intelligence Unit. It was established in December 2000 by way of the FIU Act, because we were blacklisted, and to get off the listing, we need to create a FIU. It's an independent administrative agency. It's autonomous. It's standalone. It's government funded. Its core function is to receive, process information from the financial sector as relates to suspicion. Yeah? It functions as a buffer between the financial sector and law enforcement. Initially, the banks were very suspicious about giving information on their clients. So they say, you know what, we ain't just gonna go give the police no information. We need a buffer. And the FIU acts as a buffer. There's someone that we could trust. I ain't saying the police got a bad name, but because you can imagine, you're John Doe on the street. You want the police having all your financial information. We trust the FIU to do it, because they're gonna do the analysis, and they would be like this, a clearinghouse. All information go to them, and they say they determine what goes to law enforcement. They prefer that route, so they really are the buffer. Because you don't want, why you want everyone in CDU knowing all your banking information, and you don't know who else is gonna get it and whatever. So it's really like a clearinghouse system they got there. Yeah.
So that, and then you said the FATF is the one that is the
The FATF, they give the international standard,
It's the
recommendation
standard.
20.
right.
Yeah.
So how they come under that? Who do we report to with the FATF?
No, you don't report to the FATF. They create the international standard.
Okay.
They're the international standard. They do it for the world. And we have local legislation, which is the FTRA, Financial Transaction Reporting Act, would say that you have to report.
Okay.
If you're a financial institution, frontline staff, they make the reports to the MLRO. The MLRO has the responsibility to make the reports to the FIU.
FIU. Okay.
Mhm.
Alright.
Tipping off. I think I spoke about that before. And I gave you an illustration with a young staff member who just was chatty. Oh yeah, senior management, they watching your accounts. Like, dude, ain't nothing went off in your head that, hey, you telling someone who may be on the monitored for suspicion that, hey, compliance is watching your activity? And then she wonder why when we walk at HR that we tell them, we appreciate your service and everything. And that's common sense. Some stuff gonna be common sense. That's like telling a dope dealer, yeah, we was watching your accounts. We saw some money coming from Colombia, and then some going to Mexico, then hit the Bahamas. But we just wanted you to know that. You can't do that. That's tipping off. So you must not say anything to your customer client which leads to an investigation being prejudiced. And it even goes beyond that. You gotta think about safety too. If you try to lock down someone's account who may be involved in drugs, why wouldn't they go after you? Just think about that for a second. When you start saying, oh, well, compliance, they lock the account down. How much people in your compliance department? And they're only hearing compliance, account frozen. I'm a dope dealer, I need to access my funds. So you think I'm above threatening you? And I gave you a little illustration before with a staff member. She had the line open. And we do have what we call an internal caution list. And the person matched the information on the caution list. And I didn't know the phone line was open. And she said, Mr. Taylor, what you want me to do? I said, if the person matched the information, we're not onboarding that client. So you want me to tell him he can't? I said, yeah. We're not taking that person on because of obvious reasons and whatever. So I said, nah, to my desk, phone ring. Person, this Randy Taylor. I said, yeah, yeah. Well, you like, babe, why you don't want me open that account? I said, what? I'm like, what? Everything cool. You didn't want me to open that account. And I said, but she had the phone line open. You know when your hands free. And you how you call compliance to get information on a client who you suspect may be involved in crime. And you got the phone line open. And I'm saying all these stuff.
Wow.
And I was like, Jesus, you say you can meet your dad? So I could be walking to the parking lot, just, at the end of the day, gotta go home. Next thing you know, brick hit me across the head or something. Not that it happened, but I'm just saying. The person know I'm Randy Taylor. We got the bank on Shirley Street. I'm the only male in compliance. I walk into my car. And the craziest thing with this, we have nameplates with your names. So, it's like, okay.
Wait for you.
Man, no, that ain't cool. We had a workshop after that. Sorry, who?
I say, so she's still awake with you.
It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
We sent out a communication that, hey, whenever you come into compliance with requests like that, don't have the hands free. A matter of fact, don't have that communication with the customer right in front of you.
Yeah.
You move away and you go to isolate area and then you call, hey, I got a customer here. You can talk to the person right there and the person looking right in your eye and you're like, yeah. People ain't stupid because you're like, no. Yeah, if I'm a crook, yeah, but you all on to something, let me get on this point. I got tipping off is an offense, by the way. The person who's responsible, if you are arrested, charged, go before court, you can face up to 3 years. 3 years in jail. And a fine of $50,000. All right, 2 minutes of break. Stretch your leg.
I just want to say you say tip it off for 12 years and then $5 million. That's all of it.
I can tell you right now. One second.
There you go. There you go.
You will be correct on that. You're talking about the amended version.
Yeah, that's fine.
What I have right here is, you will be correct. As a matter of fact, let me tell you why I didn't include that in here.
Okay.
You know we're going to be assessed again. Remember the CFATF report of 2017? They said that we have a lot of legislation in place, but we can't demonstrate to them. They haven't seen a lot of people going to jail for money laundering charges. They haven't seen a lot of forfeitures.
So they
Sorry?
increasing the penalty for that?
We have to demonstrate to the international community that we are serious about it. So that was put as a bill early in the year, and the amendment did go through. So you'll be correct that it is 12 years, and it is 500, not 50,000. That should come into effect just prior to the assessment.
So
I don't-
if we want to speak on it in the exam,
That's a
we
big
go
jump.
with
They're not going to ask for the amount in the
Oh.
exam. No, they're not going to ask you that.
That's a big jump though, from 3
But if you have to
years
demonstrate, because they're saying that, hey, you got 50,000 and you only, I see no one getting charged with it. So we to show them be serious, we increase it. That's by 1,000%.
Yeah.
500,000 from 50,000. Yeah, so they go on all the way up. They're like, you know what? This is how serious we are about it, money laundering.
Yeah,
So
that's
they,
more than that, yeah.
so they go on up to 500,000. So if you're a staff member, just say you're a clerk, like that young lady who was just tipping off.
$450,000.
We can get 500,000 to pay that bill. I mean, she would be gone. She was gone a long time. But I mean, she can pay that kind of. But the good news is you don't have to pay the fine. You can just do the jail time. And the jail is only if you can't. No, that's the law. If you can't afford it, then you do the 12 years. And she was a young teller, so she was 20. She come out like what, 22?
Some guy you would have had.
22. She'd still be young. She'd be what, 32? Yeah, 32. And then let's be real. He probably wouldn't good behavior on that 8 months to a year. She wouldn't do all of that kind. She probably do 6 years.
Only 6
Yeah.
years.
Well, you on 12? If they tell you you had 6 or 12, I'll take my 6 years, right?
I'll take none. None.
After
You
that
got,
video going viral or the prison, ain't nobody want to do no year. Live
Oh,
video.
that's a mess.
but she left then, the young lady.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was going too slow. I said, all right, okay, I mean, I'm just saying.
Sorry, man.
So if you go to the handle because it's playing crazy, if you don't have it, you can share it with the person next to you. There's a STR success story. I could speak on one or two locally, but I'll just touch on this one as international. It says here, in a case initiated from SAR, which is the equivalent of STR, review team, a federal government accountant pleaded guilty to theft of public money and money laundering. He pleaded guilty. The financial institution, they saw some red flags. They thought it was suspicious. So they filed a SAR or STR with the local regulator. For the Bahamas, we have our regulator would be the FIU. In the United States, it's called FinCEN. It's different. Like in Australia, it's AUSTRAC. And in Canada, it's FINTRAC. But you don't get into that. I mean, I knew that from in another life, but for us, it's FIU. And it's the equivalent of FIU to FINTRAC, by the way. So the case began when an alert bank noticed several unusual transactions, including large cash payments to credit card accounts. Activity in one account at the bank, ostensibly a business account, appeared suspicious because the only deposits were U.S. Treasury checks. Most of the debits were for currency, and there was no apparent business activity. So they had some red flags going on there. You go to the next page. The narrative revealed cash payments made to 2 credit card accounts of approximately $8,000 each, but the balances on the account were less than $200. The bank reported several check deposits into the business account, with almost all of the withdrawals consisting of currency. In addition, the bank found no signs of checks drawn in the business account for business expenses. You have a business and there's no expenses, it's a red flag. You know, that's weird. The money just come in, go right back out. No business related activity, no expenses. That's a red flag. Unless I don't know how you operate with no overhead. What, and it ain't home base. The defendant confessed to creating a fictitious business, along with creating more than a dozen government refund payment vouchers made payable to his business entity and directing the checks to be deposited in the accounts of that entity. So in his plea agreement negotiation, he came forward and said, you know, this is what I did. On the next page, a federal judge sentenced the defendant to more than 3 years in federal prison, which ain't really long, without parole, so you have to do the full 3 years. The court also ordered him to pay approximately $600,000 in restitution. The good news is if you can't pay the monetary fine, they just give you additional years. You know thing. And you can actually find this example at the FinCEN website, www.fincen.gov. As a matter of fact, they have a whole listing of examples if you just want to go through. And they would have how they have it set up is the scenario, narrative, and conclusion. So you can use that if you need it. You can see some more examples. So that's another success story, I should say, for us. Boy, I hope I ain't get a problem with this. See, my situation was when I was at the FIU, we had to sign what's called a confidentiality and non-disclosure form, right? So even though we leave the organization or the institution, we still bound by that. So I can't call names. So
For how long? 5 years?
yeah, sure, very straight about it. No, that's, you can't disclose that information because it is what it is. But let me give you one that, I don't know, this one in the press. Boy, I can't use that one.
My son used it.
You ain't going to jail. It's easy for you to say, yeah. And you'll be sitting right in this class, and that 5 o'clock bus, I could be passing right near the bus, supposed to be there and now. Look at Taylor on the bus. He used to be lecturing us. All in jail. So, there was one, let me see, I can't use that one. Okay, I know one. There was one involving a certain individual in Freeport, because I saw all the suspicious reports. He had a business along with a lady over there. She's not fully Bahamian, I can leave it at that. And the money was cash based, excessive cash. Money is coming into the business. Exceeded their potential activity. Yeah, what they declared would be coming in and going out. Greatly exceeded that. So all this money coming in and going out. Then I saw there were 1 or 2 drafts that were made payable to persons who are unsavory character. And I said, oh, okay, why would they be, from the business, the store business, be cutting the check for this individual? This information went to Drug Enforcement Unit. Lo and behold, I wonder if I still have that's the presentation in here. If it was in here, I would have showed you all that one. But I mean, not in the interest of time, I wouldn't do that, because you gotta do what you gotta do. No, it's the actual presentation that I got from the Drug Enforcement Unit. I thought that would have been a nice one to show you. I would have to get into my hard drive, which is not linked to the intranet over there. But yeah, so there was this. I'll cut a long story short. This particular individual, he made a report to the police control room, indicating that he was about to be robbed. Think about that for a second. How you know you're gonna get robbed?
Yes, he's about to be robbed.
I'm about to be robbed. Think about that let that sink in for a second.
Sorry, the criminals there, yeah. The robbers stay together.
Apparently, this person who I made the report on, he was what they call a broker for some drug dealers. He lived in the Eastern District of Nassau. Yeah. So he gave DU this information. By the time they got to his house, they met the fence cut. They found 50s and 100s in the grass in the front of the yard. Any suspicion yet? Think about this for a second. Any suspicion? I'm about to be robbed. Your fence cut. They found cash around the house in the grass. Well, interesting enough, when they started,
I think he was trying to, must he have too much cash?
well, interesting you should say that, because when I start talking about it, you're going to know what this case is, but I don't talk about it too much. When they went to his house, when they went inside, he said, okay, I'm going to let y'all know right now, I have some cash in the house.
He have cash in the house.
I got some cash in the house.
So
Oh,
they
it-
take everything?
Well,
Which is why
They didn't take everything.
we mean if they take
take
everything.
some, they bargain with them. Y'all didn't have that story? No. I have it that one.
Anyhow, I mean, the police version of the story, when they got to the house, he said that I have some cash in the house. He had the shoe boxes with cash. He had some cash in the man, or I think it was like 2.6 million was in the house. The average person don't keep 2.6 million in their house.
Average?
In their house. Right? So he had all his money inside the house. They found money outside the house. They came to us at the FIU to assist. We had to go the route of national insurance. His contributions was like, nothing to talk about. You know when you got to make the $100 contribution, 100 and change, whatever. But it doesn't match his so-called income. Yeah? So there was a lot of stuff was going on. So we had to liaise with the AG's office too, because he couldn't account for all his money.
He's paranoid.
Ain't paranoid. Who got 2 point whatever? I mean, that ain't normal to have that kind of money. So when he said he was about to be robbed, then he started saying, okay, I'll be honest with you. I'm a broker. I'm a broker for this was when the number houses were still rogue and illegal. He was keeping money for them, and he was keeping money for some drug dealers. So,
The bank?
you know, bank, he said he was a broker. So when I saw the transaction, remember when I said that I was seeing transactions on his business account that didn't line up? It exceeded the business, but he was making deposits. He had so much cash he couldn't just make those to the bank. So he was keeping a lot of cash home. So, you know, they when they went to the house, they said, man, money was everywhere. They said, man, you pull open drawers, money flying. You know, you go on up, they go in the ceiling, money all in the ceiling. But he said that he actually kept more money than that. The monies were confiscated. It went into the confiscated assets fund. You familiar with that? You're the lawyer. So the monies went to the confiscated assets fund because he couldn't give a justifiable reason why he had all his money. He said that he was a broker and all that stuff. So it was forfeited.
They ain't got keep none.
Who's they? Keep what?
They ain't keep none.
You keep that. You can't give a justifiable if you get found with a lot of money. There's a legislation we just get passed right now. Remember with the MPs being arrested for possible corruption. Now when you can't justify how you came the source of it, how you acquired all this asset, it can be forfeited. Yeah. So this person, he couldn't account for all this money. I mean, 2.6 million in your house, and then you got money in the yard. You're about to be robbed. That's a lot of red flags in one day. Yeah. That was just too much red flags. The monies were come again? No, you was thinking about his safety. Because if these fellas who are involved in drugs and whatever, they know you have money in your house. You think about your life now.
He still can get killed because if that's their money, they
The
coming
money
for.
around.
But the
want
prime,
all the money to
but
go on.
when you take the sting out of it, I mean, they really after the money. They ain't really. I don't think they really want killed, but they really want. He's a broker. Other the rival drug dealers know that this boy keeping money for other people. That's easy money. You know, they talk. Sorry, how they know people is talk. If I'm a broker and if I get 10%, all I gotta do is keep your money for you because you can't get it in the bank. And this ain't just drug dealers. This was number houses too, by the way. He's keeping for some alleged number houses.
But that's my point. My point is, even if he keeping the money for
We gotta know
whoever,
why they
my
keep it.
thing is, if he call and he tip off himself with the police to think that someone's gonna rob him, they're gonna kill him anyway because the people looking
So
for
who
their
you want
money.
kill? You want police come protect you or you want them come and shoot
But
you?
anyway, because if he don't
But at
have
least
the
let the
money,
police
but
know,
they
at least
ask
he
for
might
it.
live a day or two longer. If the police them rush it and
Take
try
the money
to,
and just flee.
and they ain't got no money, so what they gonna do? They come to just,
Yeah.
it's a fruitless
That's right.
exercise because all the money was confiscated. And I heard someone saying, well, because when it came on the news, when the police said they went to a
She
house,
should have been my friend.
when they went to the house out east.
This is Steve.
Yeah. So it was said in the news. I mean, I heard some people saying, okay, in the news they said that, oh, the police say they only reported 2.6 million they recovered. Now, but how you know they only got that? How you know when they go on the ceiling, some of the money was in their
No,
pocket
the
or
police
this and
take
that?
some of that money.
Because they had, I know the particular officers who went there. Bishop know what I'm talking about from the intelligence unit. When they go on those type of sting operation, they always carry intelligence officer who's neutral. So he is like, I'm just here to account for what's there.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember I told you. Remember I told you when they recruit those fellas, they get them on the train and they never see uniform. You never see them.
When you see some of
Those
them
fellas,
that
they
are
kept
and stuff
apart
that,
for a
you think
reason.
they're making their little
In there, and you always.
You
Okay, it's 2.6 million off the street, and they had to account for that money. They counted that on scene. and when they get back to DU, they had to break all of that and then count it again.
How much it was to get back to the
It was the same 2.6.
Damn, hold on. Tell me you know better than that.
Man, you want me to?
Let me tell you something.
Tell me you know better than that.
Let me tell you something right now. Yeah?
Jesus, cut that money
If
right
it's
there.
you one by yourself, that's one thing. But if it's you and 10,
If you got a whole team,
Yeah, but
Somebody
everybody
is
pension, you talk and me, we talk and everybody.
No,
You
sir.
take one, you take two.
No, sir.
You see you take and then
Everybody
you take.
can.
No, sir.
no man, it ain't like I've been on scenes before where it was just like 4 of us, and we saw the money there, and I just said, oh, my bills paid, but you know what? It's something called integrity.
If you look at the
At the end of the
cash flow,
day.
you can't say how much that was.
Listen
You have
here,
a handful of-
I can't. Like I also say, you know, it's keep me on the straight and narrow.
You may be one of the good ones.
Other than you know, I try to get in heaven one day. Other than that, I like my freedom.
Hello.
And I say this all the time, and you are tired of hearing me saying this. You don't do the braid my hair.
Understand? You don't want all the money. You just want a little handful. A little handful of
Ain't no
taxes.
fella to braid my hair. I see it happening in Fox Hill. I sitting between the one lap and getting my hair braided.
If you make 20 grand out of that 1.2,
Dog Patsy,
how
sir.
much is that?
Yeah, do that
If you
like
make
that.
50 grand out of that 1.2, 2.6.
It's integrity though.
They ain't gonna feel
I
that.
mean, your name, listen here, no, I'll say this before you leave, because we did talk just to show the correlation with the MLR function. Your name is all you got in the business. Because once you're being tainted, no one wants to deal with you.
But ain't no one was saying it from that.
Yeah, boy, feel like they're gonna check around the box, see if anybody there.
I don't see a big house says. That's what.
We're all coming up with well, he's gone.
Taylor.
You ain't nothing but the devil. Use the devil. Go on with your business, man. I'm gonna break with you. Use the devil.
That's the truth.
So I don't know what folks, for y'all, for you guys who didn't get in. So if you do, if you came in late, we did have a handout. I didn't have enough paper to do for everyone in the staff here. They didn't have the copy of working. So if you get with someone in the class to get a copy, if you know the faces. Yes, please. Yes. The persons in the class, if you want to link up with someone here now to get a copy, or
Taylor,
maybe,
not here next week.
I don't think so. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
No, this is. You could send me. I mean, you my email. You can send it to me. It's Randy dot Taylor 100 at yahoo.com. Send it to me today. You should get it back before the day. So it's Randy dot Taylor 100 at yahoo.com.
Okay. I'll send you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, have a blessed day. What's left of it? Go to the mall. Don't go to the expensive movie place. I don't think it's open yet. So.
They say you online to draft now.
Well, Bishop, you ain't come to my defense, man. You let the woman say it ain't 2.6 million.
Yeah, you hear me? I did. I said you play the trade if it's me one. I can talk on myself. Whenever you deal with somebody else.
Right there over
Oh, sorry.
Quiet, please.
Okay, it's exam next. All right.